Hi, today I'm coming to you to give you a little overview on my observations about singing. And what I really want to talk about today is how people approach singing and how to give yourself more range and how to have different tone. And let's first start off with the fact that I am no diva. I am not a diva of a singer. I am a vocal stylist, because there are divas, singers, and vocal stylists. Vocal stylists might be Bon Scott, Sheryl Crow maybe, Joni Mitchell, even though she has a beautiful voice. When I'm talking about divas, I'm talking about someone like Cher or maybe Celine Dion. And the average singer, well, there's plenty of them out there. They're usually people that you find on like The Voice or those kind of shows. I mean, occasionally you get a diva, but usually the average person is a singer that goes on those kind of programs. Probably wrong about that, but nonetheless. So this is my point of view. And when I started out, I couldn't carry a tune in a wheelbarrow. And I studied Caruso and Mario Lanza and many of the rock singers, and I read a lot of information about how to sing. I went to singing lessons, and I finally found a teacher that could help me with my range and with my tonality and allowing me to sing scales and hit notes, not pitch perfect, but get in the ballpark. And it all came from technique. It all came from technique. So most people, when you're talking about singing, sing from the throat. And they tighten their throat and they squeeze their throat to hit higher notes, which cuts off the beauty and the timbre and the tonality and creates strain and limits the range of that singer's ability. But the truth of the matter is, if you can relax your throat and, as we've been told over and over again, use the diaphragm and use the body and muscles in the body that support the diaphragm to push the air through those vocal cords, those relaxed vocal cords, you can get a much better sound and a lot more range. And you'll see these singers who are hitting really high notes and they're squinting and screaming. Usually their throat is very relaxed. That might be them pushing with all the muscles in their body and a lot in the back, under their back, supporting that diaphragm and pushing that sound and that air out through their chest. And then we have to talk about resonance. So you hear often that there's head tone and there's chest tone. Well, for lower notes, you usually have a lot of chest resonance, and you can find very small people who have very large voices. And Celine Dion is one of those type of people. I mentioned her before, but she can get a lot of push out of that small frame of hers. And Etta James, I met her, by the way. Etta James is another one who is small but yet could have a large voice and push that resonance out of her chest. And then we have head tone, when the actual vibrations go into the head and the sinus cavity and resonate and come out. So, just a bit of technique here. It's really important that we keep the back of our tongue down to let that resonance come out into our head. And one of the most helpful things that I learned is never push harder than the note requires. So low notes require support but not push. And if you can relax that and just use what's necessary to hit the particular note, you'll be a lot better off, in my estimation. The next thing is tonality in the face. Now you can do this just by thinking about a particular area. You've heard this undercut where singers from the grunge era sang into the bottom of their chins, that kind of sound. That's a way to create a different resonance through the nasal cavity and through the mouth cavity. And you can move it all the way up, think about right here, or think about just below the nose, or you can get that real nasal sound, sing into your nasal cavity, you know, and you might get a Bon Scott kind of sound, or maybe an Aussie sound. And my nasal cavity is a different shape, and I'm going to have a different sound. And there's also a different way. When I'm pushing, just so you guys know, I sort of push my notes up till I feel that I'm going to start pushing from my throat. And then I sort of think about my outer lobes here in my upper chest, and I'm able to create a different kind of push and a different kind of resonance, so like it comes down out of my throat and down into my upper chest, and then I can push into that head tone. Now some people call this falsetto, but I always think falsetto is I was told that your voice is your voice, it goes all the way through, and it's about squeezing those vocal cords together. That term's not going to go away, falsetto. But to me, falsetto is a head tone without any support coming from your chest cavity, your resonance from your diaphragm in your chest area. And you're just sort of pushing this a little more through your throat, but I like to do it if I really want a light sound, is I push from my lower back, the bottom of my ribs at the back, and tighten those muscles, and I can get a stronger falsetto, even though I don't have a very good one. It's maybe it's my age, but it sounds a little gravelly and gruff, but I can still get a little bit of that soft, quiet, more feminine sound out of my voice using that technique. Anyway, there's so much more that I could talk about, and so much I learned from my singing teachers and all my studies, and just tons and tons and tons of practice. And a lot of it is just visualization and keeping those throat muscles relaxed. So until next time, stay tuned.
Forever.